Hello everybody, in today's video I'm going to talk about the big four types of sports fans. There is the mediocre, there is the intermediate, there is the casual, and there is the hardcore. And now those could be put into four different ones, but these are the big four that you would have in any, sport that at least has even if it's not a lot, if it has a little bit of a mainstream fan base, even like a little sliver, you're going to have either close to all four or will have all four. Okay, let me explain. Alright, in the mediocre is like they don't really care. They're just kind of there because other people are there. They'll play those sports because everybody else is playing, or they'll just attend an event because everybody else is attending an event, that kind of thing. And they might not know anything, and they don't really know anything much at all, so they'll just attend and go with it. And then the intermediate, let's go on to number two. The intermediate fan. The intermediate fan is like, they might know a few of the rules, but usually they'll either only watch highlights, they're either that kind of person, or they'll only really be there if it's like a final. Like it's the final game of the season of whatever sport, like Flickerball 9000, and they're having the biggest final, of their regular season so far. And it's between this team, or this guy and this guy. And it's going to be big because these two players have never gone against each other or something. And they'll act as if they understand anything. Like, they might understand, but most likely, they ain't gonna, no crap. They're just kind of there just to be there, Like, they act like they've been there all the way, when in reality, they only really attend to, say, a Super Bowl, for example. Like, they'll only really be there just because it's a Super Bowl, not even because of, they have a favorite team or something. And then there's the casual fans. Now, the casual fans are, people who know the sport, at least on the basic level, on the level of where they're, an actual fan. So, rather, it doesn't matter if it's a team sport or if it's an individual sport. They'll have their favorite player or their favorite team, and even if they really, really suck, a team that just is super horrible in the league or in the specific sport that they play, as long as they have that local fan culture, they'll always have the casual fan. But here's the thing about the casual fan. They know at the end of the day, if their team wins or loses, they know that it's a game. They know that it's a sport. That it's a sport at the end of the day. And it doesn't really affect their lives much beyond that, man, my team lost, or man, my team won, Especially in team sports, not so much in individual sports, although that is kind of a thing. But when it comes to team sports especially, they just know that at the end of the day, it is a sport, and it is not, the direct way of living itself. And they just know that, hey, it's a game, they can always get better later on. And, that's the casual fan. They know what they're talking about when they see this guy and this guy going against each other. They know, oh, I can go about this, because unlike number 1 and 2, number 3, the casual fan, they at least, have somewhat of an idea of what they're talking about. Now, if you start getting into the technical rules and the history, they may not know, depending on the degree, but if they're a little bit more obsessed, then maybe. And then there's number 4. The number 4 type of fan. Oh boy, it doesn't even matter if it's the most local sport that there is to exist, with the most local team of that sport being that one area. It doesn't even matter. You're always gonna have that hardcore, This is stage number 4, hardcore. And what hardcore means is it could go from they go really dramatic if their team or favorite player loses. Or what's going to happen is, depending on the degree of what kind of hardcore fan they are, man, if you criticize their favorite team or player even just a little bit to say, hey, this player is doing not so great. Maybe he or she could improve on this or that, and like they could be a legit fan as well, and then they're like saying, oh, they could improve on this to improve their skills. These fans, these type of hardcore fans, they will just blast you to the other end of the multiverse. You know, like they will just, like, they're the kind of people that make Devil's Night a real thing. You know, like they psychos, and on top of that, they might not even just be in the sport, but they probably play in it too, which is probably a problem as well, because why do you want those kind of fans playing that, you know? And to make things even worse, these fans, man, if their team loses, if their team wins, they're going to talk about it for like the next 3 months. But if their team loses, don't talk to them for like the next 2 weeks, bro. Just don't talk to them for like the next 2 weeks, because they will be in distraught. They will be just freaking lost, dude. Like they will be like you like it's like you killed their whole family right in front of them in the most insulting way possible. That's how they feel about it. Like that's how it is with a lot of sports fans in this world, in the sports world. And you might go, oh, they're being super dramatic. And I'm like, yeah, I know. This is where you get to the absolute extreme of extreme. You know, like they want to be around the players. They are been around the players. They might even be the players. You know, like they just live and breathe the sport no matter what, 24/7. Okay? Or should I say 24/8 or 25/8, because these suckers just, that's the all they think about. This is the one where it's like, if they grew up, like they're the kind of ones that grew up only playing that sport, or only mostly playing that sport, or were really into it, or they got into it recently and now they're super duper obsessed. And the thing about these kind of guys is, man, they think that once their sport or whatever is like, once it becomes that way and they start becoming that way, to them this is the only sport, and to them their team or their player is the only actual real team or real player. You know, but for the casual fans, even those guys, you know, have limits on, you know, what they may or may not say on it. These guys will go all the way, the number 4 will go all the way to the point of where it's like they'll send your ass to the shadow realm just because you looked at them for a little bit, you know? Like they I don't know how they're in society, you know? Like it's that kind of problem. But you know, luckily they're very rare, and luckily they're like that 1% of the hardcore fan base of any sport. Unless you're talking like super duper mainstream type stuff, then you're gonna probably have those by default, you know? But who knows? But yeah, those are the big 4. And if you want to disagree, you can disagree. If you want to agree, you can agree. If you enjoyed or didn't enjoy or have something else to say or something else entirely, you can let me know about this from this video if you want to. Anyway, if not, you don't have to. We're not forcing you to. I'm not forcing you to, is what I mean to say. But anyway, yeah. Those are the big 4, at least in my opinion. So, yeah. Anyway, I gotta end this video. And just remember, everybody, stay ugly.